woman had left her man because he had lost his job. You understand? Like the guy, he was, you know, she was living a decent life. He was able to take care of her a certain way. And, you know, he held it down for her since the first time he had met her and shit like that. Right? But then the man ends up losing his job one day. And I think it only took like, I think it only took like a certain amount of days for her to just be like, yeah, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? She didn't stick around. And that's her prerogative. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, if a person makes that decision, that's their decision, that's their prerogative, whatever the case is. But this girl ended up going viral for this shit. And she could not understand why people weren't really, because the majority of people felt like, oh, you cold, you wrong. You mean tell me at that man's worst time of his life, after he was holding you down significantly, right? The worst time of his life, when he really needed you, that one time he really needed you, you left that man. That's not even the worst part. She left him and went and jumped on his man's. You know what I'm saying? And she tried to justify this shit. She really tried to justify it. What she said was he made a vow to take care of her no matter what. And she was like, he broke the vow or some shit like that. And excuse my language, but these people was basically saying to her, bitch, he couldn't help it if he lost his job. That's basically what they were saying to her. You know what I'm saying? But she didn't care nothing about that. What do you call that? That's terrible, bro. Y'all fools better know who y'all dealing with before y'all start trying to spoil these women, kid. I'm telling you. And I can't say all, you know what I'm saying? I gotta say not all women are the same, because not all men are the same. You know, it sounds so repetitive to always say that shit, but I feel like we have to say it because it's not fair to put all men and women in the same box. Some men make other men look really fucked up, and some women make other women look really fucked up. And at the end of the day, you got single people on the side like, this is why I don't want to date, because y'all just got everything looking all fucked up. I don't want to fuck with nobody. You know what I'm saying? That's what people be thinking. The lady said, she said she never really loved him in the first place. Yeah, that ain't love. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference between the two. You got love, you got a relationship, and then you got an arrangement. You know what I'm saying? You got a relationship, and then you have an arrangement. An arrangement is when, and you know, here's the thing. Some of these dudes don't mind being in that situation. Some of these dudes don't mind, like, taking care of a woman financially, right? But they know that that woman, if he lost all of that shit within the snap of a, like that, she would be gone. She ain't sticking around for you. She's only, like, you know, I be looking at some of these niggas like, you know, she's only dealing with you because of what you're giving her, right? Because of what you have, right? Like, you never question that in your mind. You never sit back and question that in your mind. Yo, what if I lost all this? I wonder if this girl would still be dealing with me. How could you not? I don't care if I had 50 million. I don't care if I had 100 million. I'm a type of person. Yo, what was the name of that show where the guy would fake how much money he had to see, you know, like if the women would stick around? Like, I guess he would act like, it might have been The Bachelor or some shit. Y'all help me out. He would act like he, you know, he had put on this front, this whole presentation, like he had a whole bunch of money, this certain lifestyle or whatever the case is, you know. But when he chose the girl that he wanted to be with, that he built a connection with, come find out he didn't really have it like that. Is that The Bachelor? Is that what that was? And I never even watched one episode of that. You know, I don't know how real that shit was or whatever. I would do some shit like that. Huh? I'm not saying, you know, it might sound sneaky to y'all, but what I'm saying is this. I'm saying, like, if I'm getting to know somebody, I'm going out with them, whatever the case, you know, I'm going to pay for these, you know, for these dates and shit like that. We're going to go out, we're going to have a good time, right? But before I tell you, if I was a millionaire or something like that, before I tell you anything like that, I'm going to hold that shit off for as long as possible, because I want to see where your mind is at. I want to see where your heart is at. You understand? I'm not going to tell you that I have, like, you know, all these stocks and that. You know, I got like businesses and all this shit. I'm holding that shit off. I want to see exactly how you really feel. Let's see how far this go before you know what I'm saying? I want to see the type of woman I'm dealing with. The thing is, at the end of the day, like if I was to find out that she really like, she really rocking out, she really sticking around, then I would feel glad to tell her, listen, I got something to tell you. Like, I'm actually like very well off, and like I can afford to take you out of the lifestyle that you're in now. I just didn't want to tell you at first because I want you to get to know the real me. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some bomb ass women out there who, you know, like it goes back to what I was just saying. There's some women that a man will want to take care of. He will want to do anything he could possibly do for her because he know how good of a woman he got. You understand? But that's what the pastor was basically saying. If a man knows how genuine of a woman that he has, then there's pretty much nothing he won't do. And it don't really even have nothing to do with what tax bracket he's in. You know what I'm saying? Even if whether he was rich, middle class, just your regular everyday worker, whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? The point is, if he don't got it, he damn sure gonna do his best and try to get it. You know what I'm saying? He gonna break his neck, his back. He gonna work his fingers to the bone to make sure he can do any and everything for that woman. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. I don't see how they could do it. You know, there's men that like they'll lay up with it like a woman like 80-something years old, 90-something years old. You know, like when we talk about gold diggers with men, like that's kind of like the age range I think they hit for. They hit for these older women who they know are alone and want some company and shit like that. You know, it'll keep them company and things like that. That's nasty, bro. You know, some of the women who ain't, you know, they ain't been bent over in years. They ain't had none of that. They ain't had none of that thing in years. You know what I'm saying? So they like, you know, they live in like mansions and, you know, they got fucking luxury apartments and shit like that. Women that are well off. You know what I'm saying? They name rings bells in these business, you know, they got businesses and shit like that. Like, I can never see myself doing that. I just don't believe, if I really don't want to deal with somebody, I really don't want to be with somebody, I don't see myself doing it just so I can get something out of them. I don't believe in that. Because I got a conscience, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, some people might look at it like this. Listen, everybody gets used one way or another. Yeah, at the end of the day, we all get used for something. That's the truth of the matter. You understand? But I guess it just comes down to we can only choose who, you know, we're going to get used by, you know, and hope that that person cares about us. We're taking a chance for anybody out here. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of people just don't date and shit. A lot of people just, you know what I mean? It's just you know, it's a terrible, oh God. But back to these dudes, man, and like, you know, like there's nothing they won't do. If it means getting a woman and keeping a woman, there's nothing they won't do, you know? And they probably got it like that to do that. They probably can flaunt a little money, whatever the case is. You know, if you got it, flaunt it, this, that, and the third. But all I'm saying is, like, being a human at the end of the day, just being a man, because, you know, we're not robots. Like, we're not androids and shit. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, like, men, you know, they need somebody to be in their corner and shit, too. You know, we just don't express it emotionally like women. You know what I'm saying? That's based on because how the world is right now and shit. Actually, it's always been like that. You know what I'm saying? Because when I look at these dudes, I'm like, you mean tell me, you know, it's like how you get them is how you lose them. Okay. You showed that girl a lifestyle. You flaunted your money in her face. You showed her you could help her take care of the kids. You could, you know, pay her rent or whatever the case is. And I'm not saying that a man's supposed to do nice things for a woman. So please understand the difference of what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying these men that go so far out there, and it's like they go so far out there that they're making themselves look crazy. You understand? Even the women that they're doing those things for, looking at them like, wow, you really want to do this for me? Like, you really? If you're going to do it, I'm going to take it. Because these women, they're not going to turn you down. They're not going to say, nah. It's very rare that someone, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying I blame a woman for, saying, well, if you want to do that for me, go ahead and do that. I've heard multiple women say, if a man wants to do nice things, I'm going to let him do nice things. You know what I'm saying? So it's on him to understand where that line is at. But the type of person I am, right? I wouldn't be able to be in a situation with somebody, under the same roof with somebody, when I'm questioning in my head, like, is this girl really for me? Like, is she? It's like that Ja Rule song, when he was in the song saying, like, yo, would she still be here if I lost everything? You know what I'm saying? Like, type of person I am, I need to know. Like, that would, if I had to question if this person would still be here, if I really lost all of this shit I had that I used to get her in the first place, would she still be dealing with me, right? I'm the type of person to question that. That would feel like sleeping with the enemy to me. I would feel like that was like some sleeping with the enemy type shit. Laying down in the same bed, I'm wondering. I wonder, out of my head, sitting at the damn table, eating dinner. I wonder if she'll still be here if I lost it all. Sitting there watching a damn movie, sitting on the chair. I wonder if she will still be here if I lost it all. That's the type of person I am. I see that as like some sleeping with the enemy type shit. You don't know if that person really rocks with you like that. You don't know if that person really cares about you. That's toxicity right there. People do believe, some people do stay in those type of situations. You understand? Because people don't want to be lonely. People who are so used to being in relationships like back to back have like hardly ever been single, right? They're scared to be single for more than a year. So they'll take chances. The men will take chances, and they'll give everything to a woman, even if he knows this girl don't really like me like that. She don't find me sexually attractive. She don't think I'm attractive in any type of way. She don't like nothing about my personality. But I was doing this and that, and she accepted me. You know what I'm saying? She's using me, and I allow it to happen because I don't want to be alone. That's some sad shit right there. That's terrible. These fools is crazy. And they be making it look so bad. That's why some of these women really be looking at other men like, oh, yo, you ain't doing this, you ain't doing that. No, he was doing that. But see, I understand that that's all you want, though. Some of these fools out here is desperate as hell. And there's really no length they'll go to, they won't go to keep a woman in their life. You know what I'm saying? Live how you live, do it how you're going to do it. All I'm saying is making sure you're dealing with a woman who actually wants you. That's all. Same thing for women, too. Don't deal with these fools that's out here trying to use you, drain you, and take from you, whatever the case is. We're all going to be used to a degree, but just make sure we're at least being used by somebody who wants to reciprocate and who actually gives a fuck about us. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.